Alice was beginning to get very tired of sitting by her sister on the bank, and of having nothing to do. Once or twice she had peeped into the book her sister was reading. Those are the first lines to this book, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, which I read countless years ago. It was then that I fell in love with the character of Alice. Alice happens to turn up in this book, which is Random Magic by Sasha Sora. It basically follows the premise of Alice from Alice in Wonderland has gone missing and a boy is sent on the journey to find her. What more could you want? The character of Alice in this book is depicted perfectly, bang on, 100% like Alice, and the array of character names and just the characters in this book are absolutely fantastic. I love the fairy tale-esqueness of it. I love the fact that it starts in the second person, and I love the fact that everything about it is magical and intriguing. You just need a good story and a good storyteller for something to be magical and wonderful, and that's what you have in Random Magic. I was intrigued from the first page. You just fall into this world that is fast-paced and extremely descriptive as well, which you don't often get. You either get descriptive or you get fast-paced, and sometimes I feel it was a little bit too fast-paced. I didn't know what was happening, but once you fall into the story, quite literally actually in the book, you don't feel like it's too fast-paced anymore. You feel like it's flowing, and you're finding out things, and you're just being drawn into this wonderful, wonderful world. I think perhaps one of my favourite things about this book are the character names, because they're just brilliant, and the characters are what makes this book so brilliant. If you look at any story, the characters are what make it kind of strong, and that's what I look for in a story anyway. Like Stevie said when she did the book tour last time, it's a book about books, and what more can a book lover want than a book about books? So Alice got up and ran off, thinking while she ran, as well as she might, what a wonderful dream it had been.
So this book is called Random Magic, and it's for people who still believe in magic. It's about a boy called Henry, and he gets sent on a mission to find Alice. Alice is missing from a book, and his professor sends him on this journey, and off he goes, but he ends up in a wrong book, and he meets this witch called Winnie, and she's a doodle witch, and together they get to experience lots of adventures, some of the dangerous adventures as well, and funny ones. Basically, Henry saves her life, and then she kind of tags along with him on this journey to find Alice. It's an unusual book. It's really unusually written. Sasha used quite interesting language. If I was a teenager, if I was like 13, I would really struggle understanding some of it. It's really well written. You just think, what is she talking about? What does she mean? This book comes with a feather, and when you read this book you'll understand why. Yeah, there's lots of cool things in the book, lots of kind of hidden messages, and there are bonus materials at the end. We have a magical fragrance, a Mariche. So yeah, check this out. And since Winnie has kind of green eyes and red lips and pigtails, I put some glitter on my eyelids and eyeliner, because that's a very bewitching eye makeup. If Winnie was real, sorry, she's not real, she's a character from a book, oops, she would have kind of flushed cheeks and nicely coloured lips, you know, to go with her green eyes. So thank you so much for watching, and make up your own mind when you read this book. You can get it from Amazon, and it would make a good Christmas present for older teenagers, or even someone in their like 20s, just because of the language used. So if you enjoyed Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, and you're looking for something with a different edge and kind of clever humor and writing, this is the book for you.
Basic premise of this book is basically there was this professor, Professor Random, who seemed to have misplaced Alice from Alice in Wonderland. He asked the help of Henry Witherspoon, a young boy, to help him search for Alice, and in doing so, he book jumps between various famous stories. He also ends up getting a little help from a doodle witch named Winnie, and together they go and search for Alice. Now, the really nice thing about this book is that it is very, very quirky, very fun, and very, very random, just as the title suggests. There's a whole slew of characters in this book, and a lot of which are very, very intelligently thought out. They were really well thought out and highly, highly entertaining. This book moves really, really quickly in and out between various situations and things, and even though I felt that it moved a little bit too fast, there were a lot of really great moments in this book. The writing in this, possibly a little bit too complicated with some really big words, but there were some great, beautiful sentences in here that I kind of sort of sat back and realized that, wow, this is a nice sentence we've got here. And then the rest of the book just kind of like flows super, super fast. There's a lot of great magical elements in this book and a lot of great story elements in this book. If you are very much into fairy tales and books and reading, then you would highly enjoy this book. Overall, a really great novel, a really great premise. I give it a thumbs up rating. Definitely try to check it out. It is a very fascinating and intriguing and detailed and quirky little book.
Hi, I'm the Book Tart. I'd like to tell you about a whimsical, funny, delightful, clever adventure that I stayed up last night till 2 a.m. reading. It's called Random Magic, and it's by Sasha Soren. And the girl on the cover has red hair like me. So this book was captivating. I loved this book. I was laughing like a loon throughout most of the story. I loved the references to literary figures and to classic stories and artists and musicians and myths and legends, and of course the hero and heroine, Winnie and Henry. Now, Henry is a human from our plane of existence, and he is asked by his professor to hop into a book to save Alice because she's gone missing, and chaos theory will set in and the world will be destroyed because her book is disappearing, the story. And he thinks his professor's a utter nutter, but he hops on the book thinking nothing will happen, and he pops into it. Unfortunately, he popped into myths and legends instead of Alice, so he's already in the wrong story. And he lands on Winnie. Winnie is a doodle witch. She's about to get burned at the stake. There's a little kid who cries, "Burn the witch!" which made me think of Monty Python. And there's all these little references throughout the story that just made me giggle, because there's a yellow rubber ducky that gets changed into a yellow submarine, and there were some guys waiting for their yellow submarine. And people would have been looking at me like I was a crazy person if I'd been reading this in public. So I enjoyed the ride. I enjoyed Henry and Winnie's becoming friends, and as they go to find Alice, in chapter 5 it says, in which we're pretty sure something ghastly happens, is happening, did happen, almost happened, is on the way to happening, or just about happened, but didn't. But as we were totally sucked in by the Discworld, we'll just have to get the scoop during the commercials break. Also, we'd like to say to Pomona that you're not fooling anyone, you know. The good news is there's no more bad news. Each of the chapters have a funny little clever blurb, synopsis basically, of the upcoming chapter. And yeah, I loved that bit. Like I said, I just loved Sasha's way with words in this story. I connected to it. So this is where they're first off looking for Alice, and it's an old goat who has a lost and found store, basically. And we're looking for Alice, Winnie persisted stubbornly. Looking for Alice, period, Henry said. There's only one I want to find. She's about so high, he said, demonstrating. guessing, hands waving up and down like he was conducting a symphony orchestra. The goat stared at him sourly. "Look here, ugly young fellow. Can't help you find what you're looking for if you don't even know what it is." "I know what it is." "Oh, no, you don't. And Alice, fat lot of help that does. And what's that you're wearing? Is that on purpose?" "No reason to be rude," Henry said, turning pink. "I'm the uncivil service," the goat said, and belched loudly. "It's my job to be rude to you." "Surely not this early in the morning." "Got a slow start. I'm just catching up now." So they're looking for Alice. They don't find Alice there, so that they have to keep going. And on their journey, they meet what wolves? Not werewolves, because if you see one behind a tree and you tell your friend, they're going to say, "What wolf?" So there's what wolves. There's there's Charon, who does the crossings at the river Styx to Hades. There's the vampires de Morgue and their daughter Hypatia, who, if I was going to a masquerade ball, I would dress as Hypatia, because she's not trying to be all doom and gloom like her mum and dad. She's very irreverent, very colorful, very the despair of her parents. She gets sent to her vault often, and so I think I would dress as her. I would actually love to dress as Callie, but I don't have a Callie costume. Callie is one of the muses, and I would need like a Grecian, I guess I could use a sheet, but I have a Hypatia costume. So they meet all these different mythical, fictional characters, which is cause for a lot of amusing situations. And Winnie is clever and resourceful, and with her doodle magic, and she looks at a problem and she sees something waiting for a solution. She does not give up. She's not a quitter, and she and Henry become great friends and partners. Henry is loyal and supportive and brave, and he gets his chance to shine. There's so many great messages in this book, though it's not like rammed down your throat a message book, because it's fun and it's adventure, but there's this underlying current of love and creativity and sacrifice and bravery and courage, and that love will get you through it. So I loved this book. I recommend you pick up Sasha Soren if you're interested in a whimsical, clever adventure. It'll take you for a ride.